there's a lot of problems, but here's the two things. One, I don't want to sound like a whole feminazi over here, but it just kind of makes women seem like we're like objects and like, oh, well, we're up for grabs because, you know, she's a fine actress and I guess that's what she's there. She's there for my liking. And it's like, yo, dude, you're disgusting. Who made you think, first of all, that you can just, she's just up for grabs like that and you have the ability to, you know, be able to do whatever you want to her. And two, it goes back to, you know, what people were talking about, you know, with these whole conspiracies. Let the family mourn in peace. You know, what his topic and what he said is just problematic. And I feel like not a lot of people understand respect anymore in our society because of social media. We feel like, oh, well, you know, we have social media, we have this platform, I'm able to speak and say what I want to say, but it's like, yo, there should be a line drawn in the sand. And what he said was just disrespectful, and it's not just to Lauren, but just to Nipsey and his family and just the whole grieving process. Like, you could have said those comments, but you didn't have to say it. You know what? You should said those comments. You should have kept those comments to yourself. You should have kept about how you felt about Lauren London to yourself. Like, we get it. She is a fine, beautiful woman, and right now, I guess because Nipsey is past, I guess she's supposedly single. I don't know. But right now, she just lost a loved one, and for you to just talk about how she's up for grabs, like, and thinking about that, like, no one's thinking about that right now. People are grieving. So just going back to let people mourn in peace, you know? And it's just unfortunate that people, you know, going back to what we said about entitlement, people feel like because they have this money and they have this status, that they have this certain entitlement about, you know, they can say what they want to say. And, it's just very unfortunate that there's people behind him, backing him up, saying, oh, people are blowing him up. What about when he said stuff about black people? We should have canceled him. Yeah, we should have canceled him then. And I do feel like he should have been canceled. But also, we need to take this situation very seriously, too. Because if you feel like this wasn't that bad, then you need to look at yourself and review yourself as well and your idea of respect, because there's times to joke around, and right now, like I said, this is sensitive. He just passed 2 weeks ago. This was a person who had a huge impact in LA, in the community, hip-hop community, and for him to just feel like he can just upright be like, oh, you know, yeah, sorry for London, but I'll hit that in a year. I'll try to hit that in a year. It's like, what the fuck, bro? Like, you're a disgusting piece of shit, you know? You're fucking, somebody called him a gremlin roach or something. Like, people have been going in on him recently, and for those people, shout out to them. And Kodak, I used to fuck with you. Obviously, you probably won't care because you're probably still gonna make money, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But if you hear this, which you probably won't, you're a piece of shit for that, and fuck your fake-ass apology. And for all the people out there as well backing them up, you guys really need to learn respect and what that means. Sorry for that tangent. Or not sorry for that tangent, but yeah. I'll see you. Kenny.
That was a hell of a walk-off. If you got a dip,
R.I.P. Nip. No, I'm still here, but I'm just
All right.
in and off as that note, because R.I.P. Nip, like I said, I was able to witness some ratchet, beautiful black hood stuff today in L.A., and it brought me back to Oakland. I just thought that, man, it was amazing to see all these people come together to celebrate one man's life and how he really had the city behind him. And just, you know, R.I.P. Nip, like they said, marathon continues. You know, when I get there, when I make that success and I'm big and whatnot, I'm gonna do that victory lap for him, because I remember this moment, and this was such a sad but also memorable moment for a great life like Nip. So R.I.P. Nip.
That's what's up. That's what's up. All right. Wow. kind of really hard to follow up. But yeah, to kind of this is why I'm thankful that we allow ourselves to swear on this podcast. Because some of the things I got to say that I'm about to say just aren't really reserved for the radio waves that like the FCC sponsors. So I agree with everything you said about Kodak, but I'm gonna take it one step further. He needs his ass beat, and honestly, I think he should never be allowed in LA again. Sorry, I muted your mic, but
No.
okay, all right. So he should never be allowed in LA again. You don't say shit like that. Like, LA was really sensitive for about shit till this day. You saw how quick everybody united. LA was about 2 seconds away from exploding in the days after, like that first week. Man, it was tight being on the 210. It was, and I don't mean tight like cool. Like, shit was tight. I had my hoodie on and my headphones in, and I was definitely looking out both sides of the window on the bus, because bullets don't have no names. And shit was wild. They blocked off Crenshaw and Slauson for a cool minute because the block was hot. The block was very hot. It's still hot if we're going to be honest. And the fact that Kodak, who said a bunch of problematic stuff already, and already admitted that he hates himself and other dark-skinned women, it's like, your mom was probably a crackhead or a side chick, some bummy, no good side chick, and your daddy was probably a bummy, no good nigga. And I don't even like saying that word anymore, but when I think of a nigga, Kodak Black comes to mind, and people like him, and people like the piece of shit that murdered Nipsey Hussle, which I still think was bigger than just some hood stuff. Like, no, he's an informant, he's a CI, therefore the government is involved, therefore the government had something to do with Nipsey dying, even though the government also was the one investigating his case. But okay, whatever. We'll never really know, but all I know is if they try to buy up property on Crenshaw and Slauson, which they are now going to name after him, his first name, which is good. They're going to name it that whole square after him, which is perfect, which is what they should do. Sorry, I had the hiccups. Pete's somewhere laughing. Indigestion. Shut up, Pete. Yeah, man, I shouldn't say this, but I already said it off the air a while ago. Honestly, if somebody snuffed Kodak Black for what he said, I wouldn't even feel bad. If somebody, like, I hate to say it, but if somebody killed you for what you said, Kodak Black, you really have no one to blame but yourself. And we don't need more death, but I'm sorry, saying shit like that after a man like him died this quick, that's a murderable offense. And you know he's a rolling 60? Are you stupid? Like, all gangbangers love Nipsey. You understand. That's the problem with these. Like, it's a generation. It really is a generation of cats, though, that don't respect anything or anybody. And that's dangerous. That's why XXXTentacion was set up and murdered, and people were recording him bleeding to death. And apparently, like, Nipsey had some last words for the dude who shot him, and that's why the dude went back and shot him. Probably called him a bitch-ass nigga and said, you missed. You aimed just like your father. If you even, I don't know, who knows what he would have said. But knowing what kind of person Nip was, when I think about when he was talking that famous Instagram post where he said he would slap the shit out of that white dude just because of slavery on the plane. He said, you bitch, you're not even in first class. Yeah, you probably said some real shit. But, yeah, man, it's weird. The energy, like, I feel like LA's healing itself slowly but surely, and I feel like if more and more kids say they want to grow up to be like Nipsey Hussle and own businesses, and yeah, they do their music or whatever, they they find love and their passion, their skill set, whatever it is, but they also want to buy back the block. That's fantastic because we need that. We need, especially for black people, we really need some economic stability, and we need to start turning that around because we're kind of in dire straits out. There's a group, black people are broke. Like, the numbers already say it. Like, you take out, you could throw in Oprah, Jay-Z, all those rich people. Black people are worth 2.6% of the nation's wealth. The entire nation. And we own virtually no land. And like 2% of the wealth that black people own is from baby boomers. So somewhere just sitting around waiting for another black person to die so you can inherit all their shit. And the other 0.6% is me, Cerv, Ryan in the chat room, Beyonce, Jay-Z, Kodak Black's dumbass, everybody. Like, we are broke collectively as a people, financially. So, I'm hoping that we are more fiscally responsible, and most importantly, man, spread love and support, and stop with this goofy shit. Like, we need to really develop a code. Impoverished people need to develop a code. Black people in particular. Because this was a black person killed another black person. Whether it was a white hand who set it up, a black person killed another black man in front of his place of business. You realize, like, Nipsey gave to the hood more than the hood ever did for him. If we're really being honest. That's what's crazy. Like, so, I just want to say, peace and love to everybody, man. Y'all stay safe. The graduation countdown is now at like a month. I'm so tired. I really haven't had a day off in like a month. I'm probably going to quit one of my jobs. I need a day off. I'm dying of sleep deprivation. Shit is wild. Like, I asked Keith like 3 questions. I asked Keith the same question 3 different times. Like, before we got on the air. And he's like, are you okay? And I'm like, no, nigga, I'm tired. But anyway. So. With that being said, thanks everybody for listening. Who was listening. Thank you, Ryan, in the chat room. I say Ryan, don't kill me, Ryan.
Oh, is my mic? Oh, my mic's on. Oh, thank you for everybody for letting me, or for listening to me. You know, it's my first time being on the show for the whole entirety. So, you know, it was pretty cool.
And now that we know you're like a miniature Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and Julian Assange, you may not like him, but he did the work of a journalist, and he's paying the price for it. And, yeah, can't wait to have Mancini on so we can talk about this. But I'm not going to go into a deep dive about Julian Assange and WikiLeaks. But just know information isn't free. Mm-hmm. So you might want to act on the information you do have. We love you. We cherish you. And, yeah, man.
Be safe
Touchdowns and tangents. If there's anything you can do for this podcast, for this broadcast, critique it, man. Like, give us your honest opinion, what you think. Rate us on iTunes, please. Any app that you're on, you can probably find Touchdowns and Tangents. Rate us, give us your honest opinion. Good, bad, or indifferent, whatever. It'll help us. And thank you to our affiliates. Obviously, Good News Radio. Obviously, full press coverage. Shout out to Terry, Obi, the whole crew. Full press coverage, Raiders. Shout out to our wonderful, wonderful affiliates out in Atlanta. We love you. We appreciate you. Stay up. And most importantly, the marathon continues.
The marathon continues. I repeat it. Stay